Hi everyone, Dan here as usual and joined by Phil, and we're live from Inbound. We are in the HubSpot Creator Lounge here. We've got a nice backdrop behind us, a couple of stools, and we're here to, check in and basically bring you what we've learned from the event so far.
Totally awesome. We thought we saw an opportunity to report back from the event live and in person, so we thought, why not?
Before we get into the podcast today, here's a quick word from our sponsors, HubSpot. Think about listening to this podcast right now. You're probably multitasking and catching 70, maybe 80% of it. Now flip that and imagine only catching 20%. That'd be pretty crazy, right? Yet most businesses only use 20% of their data. All the important details in call logs, emails, and chats just left floating in digital space. HubSpot gives you access to those insights to help your business grow, because when you know more, you grow more. Visit HubSpot.com to get the full picture today.
There's a couple of things that we want to chat about today. Some of the things are, what we've heard being on the ground, speaking to people, but also about events in general. Blender here sponsoring again, as we were last year. And I think right now is an important time for event marketing. It's a really crucial, pivotal moment where there's a lot of kind of disjointed, fragmented marketing, and events are a really great way to bring the community together, bring your buyers to you. And as a marketer, I was saying last night that there is no better way to learn about your buyers than to be on the ground, talking to them, hearing their challenges, hearing the kind of things that really resonate with them. It's very rare you get those opportunities on a day-to-day basis to have those conversations.
A good event can serve so many purposes in your go-to-market. Cut through has always been something we desire. And what it means to cut through changes depending on how buyers find and consume information. And right now, AI is accelerating their ability to compress information, into a single quick conversation. And so meeting face-to-face at an event like this provides a really, really valuable way to cut through, get your brand recognized, get your point of view and your people recognized by your buyer, in addition to the information they're learning about you, about your category through AI, through social, through YouTube, through podcasts. It's a great way to get buyer insights.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a great way to stand out, from competitors that might be on their shortlist if they're having real face-to-face, one-to-one conversations which are authentic and human. And we all crave it, no matter how the marketing world changes and how information changes.
Yeah, you absolutely do. And, for us, inbound is kind of a no-brainer, right? We identify our audiences here and they're coming in numbers. Our ICP is here. It's a no-brainer for us to go where our audience is. And it's kind of one of the things that I've always said, right? When it comes to channels, tactics, strategies, ultimately you need to go where your audience are. There's no, perfect playbook for everybody. It's understand your audience deeply and do the things that align with how they, operate, where they go, how they consume information, how they want to talk, everything like that.
I think events have always been a challenging sort of medium for businesses, particularly SMBs and mid-markets, because, they have cost profiles that are very different to creating content or creating media. They require travel, they require accommodation, people, time. They're a really challenging thing to think about. But I think it's interesting how, for a long time, sort of digitization of go-to-market meant people spent less and less time talking to one another. It's kind of refreshing that the introduction of AI into our buying processes has actually pushed down on that in a way that has created a desire of buyers and sellers to meet face-to-face with their vendors again. And so it's becoming really, really important to consider or reconsider how you include events in your strategy. But it is still challenging because I think, you can't spend a significant amount of budget on a website, on an event like this, if you cannot justify it to your CMO, your CRO, or identify what your gain out of it is. So we're here at Inbound, our audience is at Inbound, and we have a really strong sense that we can create meaningful connections and relationships with them. But we've also got to try to measure that impact through our business to see whether it's something that we continue to do or whether we iterate on that model and take our brand to different places.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, outside of the event, I think inbound in general, like as a conference, I know many of our listeners would have been to inbound and, you know, heard about it before. Like, you connect with some great people
It's
here.
incredible.
Like, you know, I know you've had a lot of conversations this week with HubSpot, as we spoke to Asia yesterday, who hopefully will get on the podcast pretty soon as well.
Yeah, to talk about
the loop marketing. Yeah, I mean, we could touch on that quickly now, like HubSpot's new marketing playbook, right? Inbound marketing has evolved rapidly. And that's something that, you know, we've both seen for, you know, 7 years,
Absolutely.
5 years.
Absolutely.
A long time. Inbound marketing as a methodology of going to market has been changing for some time. Becoming less and less effective ultimately.
Absolutely. Change has been continuous. AI has accelerated it and created a moment when everybody suddenly, knows that they need to look and think about how they do things. There's always a conversation in the halls of inbound, right?
Yeah.
There's always a topic that's going around.
Yeah.
And it's less crystallized this year than in previous years, but it is all really around how buyers' behavior is changing with AI at their disposal and how we adapt. HubSpot haven't wasted a moment to research the topic, test, ideate, and come out with a growth playbook, Loop, which we're going to talk more about in the very near future with Asia. And that's perfectly timed because, as I said, people here are really, really facing that challenge head on now and asking one another, how are you doing it? What are you changing? What are you introducing? What are you stopping doing in your marketing mix to continue to grow when traffic is disappearing, clicks are vanishing, and Google search results are, so less frequently used by your buyer.
Yeah. One thing that gets me, because obviously, you never usually speak to this many marketers on a day-to-day basis. It's quite consuming, the amount of people that you do talk to. And what gets me is how, whilst things are evolving so rapidly, similar challenges still pop up every time, we have conversations with marketers. Obviously, we're here to serve our core go-to-market offering, which is being the #1 HubSpot website agency.
Yes.
And the same challenges around the website, around, buyer user experiences, how they use it, how they consume content, like they are the same challenges that were existing 10 years ago. Right?
Yeah, they are still prevalent. They are still holding back some companies' growth. And we are always acquiring new challenges, but very few challenges actually get totally eradicated.
Yeah.
We just get a larger set of challenges. But we're still having very, very impactful conversations around things that we've been practicing for some time now, as well as the new cutting edge thinking around how it's all changing. Yeah, businesses' websites are still, perhaps even more than ever now, a critical lever in their go-to-market machine that needs pulling. Every business should be pulling hard on the opportunity that is their website's ability to convert highly qualified, highly educated, high intent visitors into their pipeline.
Yeah. Well, what I love about the Loop actually is its focus on conversion and conversion rate optimization.
Yes.
We've done, podcasts even recently that talk about conversion rate optimization, but to, have that outlined as a crucial step in this new playbook, I think is amazing, because we're having less and less influence on the ability to, educate buyers during their research process, because that's being informed by AI and they're not connecting that with our brand. But when they do come to our website, like, they're going to be more qualified and there's going to be fewer visits. We need to make the website work really, really hard.
The stakes are higher than ever when it comes to website conversion, and just more and more of the research process, selection process, comparison process is going to be done in the dark, and that's not a new trajectory, but it's being accelerated by the advances of AI. And so, the stakes are high for website conversion rate optimization, and good marketing aligns to how buyers research, share ideas, chill out sometimes. It's a whole person type role, I think, to understand your buyer and align what you do to how they really buy today. And that's why keeping an eye on how AEO is evolving, having your content creation strategy being updated to reflect the channels they use, and taking very, very serious steps to optimize your website are all worthwhile things to do.
One thing that I would say is that we're all going to be, and a lot of people that I've spoken to at Inbound are going to be taking away the fact that they really need to understand how AI search experiences actually augment information, how they train data, how they learn, how your brand gets served, cited within there. Actually think about the time and effort you're putting into understanding that, and put some of that time and effort into understanding user experience, conversion rate best practices, because that will truly help you move the needle faster for pipeline and revenue for your business.
I think that's very good advice, Stan. I think that should be heeded by all. It's a critical part of the marketing mix that is often neglected for a variety of reasons. But yeah, if you're trying to understand how buyers research, how buyers discover you, then yeah, do yourself a big favor, and understand how they behave on your website and what improves their tendency, their likelihood to take action on any interest they have, how to convert, and apply it and test it and iterate on it. It's entirely possible to make significant gains in your website conversion rate if you apply, learnings from other experts, research that's been done by a variety of parties, HubSpot included, Nielsen Norman, others. People are perfect, really good stuff from him too. And Blend, we share everything that we find out about how to make websites work harder and better.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we think about, that step before and how things are changing there, we spoke to Asia about informational content, how that's changing, the types of content that HubSpot are now looking to do. And I would say, we need to take a deep, hard look at the content that we're now creating and the mediums we're creating it in, because informational content. I had this amazing conversation with somebody yesterday who's a big Marcus Sheridan fan.
Okay, yeah.
Awesome. So we were talking about They Ask You Answer.
Yeah.
His,
that was
famous
seminal book. Yeah.
And I was kind of like, well, you know what? Now it's almost like they ask AI answers.
That is very, very, very true.
I would cross
very
out
true.
You answer, and it's literally if they are asking,
AI,
no matter where they're asking. Well, most places, if it's a search engine, AI is answering that most of the time.
Yeah, and we may see that experience start coming into more and more websites where there are agents on those websites that can be asked questions and answer them in the context of your business, which is very favorable because you control that information. But users may start to desire to interact with us via that medium.
Yeah.
We've heard talk of a completely parallel web starting to take shape, which is completely optimized for LLM consumption and AI, processing and synthesizing of answers. We may see websites be replaced entirely in the future with simple chat boxes. I think that's a way off if it happens at all.
Yeah.
But we have to be observed. We have to be alive to these changes in case they affect us in a material way. But yeah, they ask, AI answers. So you have to think about, as with all things in marketing, why do you do what you're doing? What is the outcome you hope to gain? And is it realistic to expect it? I think that's a baseline for marketing activity. And upon that sort of foundational understanding, you can build, how will we measure it? What will success look like? How do we optimize it for our buyer? And so on and so on and so on. But yeah, understanding why you're doing the things you do, and not simply taking every bit of third-party advice, as it comes to you, but critically thinking about how it fits in your business. That I think is really essential in modern marketing.
Yeah.
Most businesses don't realize just how much their website is holding them back. VDOT were generating strong demand, but their site just wasn't converting it. We rebuilt their site with their buyers in mind, sharpened the user experience and aligned it to their goals. And within 90 days after launch, high intent conversions increased by 100% and demo requests rose by 14%. That's what happens when your website finally works as hard as your marketing. If you think your website might be holding you back, let's start the conversation at blendb2b.com. If you're enjoying this show, let me recommend another one from the HubSpot podcast network that I personally never miss. Nudge, hosted by Phil Agnew. What I love about Nudge is that it's all about the psychology and science behind human behavior, what makes us take action, form habits, or say yes. And then it shows how those same principles shape great marketing and sales. In one episode, Phil looks at how just 3 words in a text message boosted vaccination rates and may have saved hundreds of lives. That's the endowment effect at work, a tiny psychological nudge creating a huge outcome. Every episode of Nudge is about 20 minutes, fast-paced, no fluff, and packed with ideas you can actually use. Check it out. Nudge is available wherever you get your podcast.
The other thing about, being at inbound and speaking to a lot of HubSpotters is you start to understand kind of where they're going with their go-to-market strategy and the things that they're really leaning into. One of the things that I've said multiple times is that HubSpot are always first to everything. It's actually annoying how brilliant they are at being first to things. And I think we all see that as marketers, and they are really such a fantastic example of how to, change at scale ultimately.
Yeah.
And whilst we were chatting to Asia and other HubSpotters, we've really got the sense that their B2B media angle, like we're sat here, right? We're in the HubSpot Creator Lounge right now,
awesome.
Which is awesome. Yeah, we've got these cool lights behind us, soundboards. There's like podcast booths over there. There's other HubSpot creators lounging around. We're having a good time. But like Asia was saying as well, that HubSpot are leaning more into the kind of creator program, influencers, mediums in terms of like video, podcasting, because that is one of the best ways now that you have to educate your buyers and connect them with your brand. As the written information is consumed by AI and disconnected from brands, the best way to connect now is in those different mediums.
Yeah, absolutely. We agreed yesterday that loop marketing is still inbound, but I think it's really it's really got an opportunity to help people move away from inbound of old, right? Research is taking place in the dark, as it already was on social, and a lot of marketing effort has been focused on bringing buyers out of the dark into the light, but that doesn't actually improve your odds of selling to them and turning them into a happy customer. Loop updates inbound for an era when AI plays a huge role.
Yeah.
Buyers are increasingly anonymous, unknown to us, private, but we can still grow, we can still improve upon our own results, and we can still have fantastic relationships with buyers, as long as we update our playbook in ways that align to what they want from us as we sell to them. So Loop is great because it's an update to the inbound philosophy, but it's still inbound.
Yeah. Inbound will still play a role forever, I think, ultimately, because it's how buyers have wanted to buy for, a long time now. And I think people are wanting to go more inbound. All AI is doing is basically, giving buyers more empowerment to do more themselves. Ultimately, we are empowering inbound. Inbound is not going anywhere.
Yeah, inbound does not equal lead generation.
No.
Inbound does not equal landing pages. Inbound does not equal email. It does not equal anything. It equals, if it equals anything, bringing buyers into you.
Yeah.
By whatever means work now.
Yeah.
And that's what Loop will help people hopefully get a real better grasp on and implement and execute quickly.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Okay. Should we wrap it up there?
Let's wrap that up there.
I think, this was a small little inbound check-in, but I think we're both tired. Our feet are hurting. It's been a hard week.
It's been a very hard week.
I'm sure marketers will sympathize with us being sit on a booth for a few days.
Tired legs, tired feet,
tired
vocal cords.
But the mind and the cogs are whirring more than ever before.
They are.
Yeah, there's
absolutely
fantastic conversations. But yeah, small check-in from us there.
Great to do Demand Decoded live from inbound.
And in the Creator Lounge.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just awesome. So yeah, who knows? We might do this next year too.
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. We will catch you all in the next episode.
See you next time.
This episode of Demand Decoded was brought to you by Blend. We help B2B technology companies grow through strategic, creative, and technical expertise, bringing you the capabilities you need to drive demand and turn it into real revenue impact for your business. If you enjoyed this episode, follow Demand Decoded on your favorite podcast platform, leave us a quick review, and we'll see you next time with more insight to help you grow.